Welcome to episode 8 of our Sea of Stars adventure. We will end up at the ferryman's vigil here where we have to speak to him to help us across to the other side basically, so we can go ahead and get this soul stone. Now he works in kind of rhyming fashion, so Sarai says she'll take over the conversation and she kind of asks for us to go over and rhymes with him in such a way, which is kind of cool. But he says that we need a green flame to be able to do this. Yeah, there you go. And we don't have that, unfortunately, so we need to look for the green flame. And Sarai's saying like, look, we don't have it right now, can we give it to you later? And there's a little bit of back and forth here. She ends up having this coin of the cord, I think it is, or this cord or something like that, and he gives it to him, and he says, hey, we can actually use that as a one-way trip, but we have to find a way to get back. So works out in the end. Skipping the transition over, we end up arriving to the island and he's like, look, here you are, you need a green flame to get back. And we end up going and exploring around. We start off by jumping into the water on the outside of the island. We don't end up finding too much other than these mushrooms at the top of the map here. We end up going back to the center and seeing these 4 zombies, which we start a fight with. This fight does look a little bit scary with 4 of the zombies, but we try out Valir's new ability, the Lunar Shield, which heals everybody a little bit and blocks 1 attack. The only problem is that these zombies actually hit twice, so you can see that on Zale, it kind of only blocks 1, and the other one he gets hit by. We also try Venom Flurry again, and on the last dagger throw, I actually get the timing for the hit of the X I'm supposed to press when she throws daggers. You can see we get so many daggers out, which is insane. The team take a little bit of damage, but next time we work on cancelling one of the skills to make sure they don't use the Chomp Chomp ability, which works out well, and we end up actually killing one in the end. From here, the team takes some significant damage, leaving us quite low. We are very close though to filling 2 combo meters, so we can get that mending light out, and in the next turn we're able to do that, heal up the whole party, which is pretty good, making sure everyone's nice and healthy. We then try to cancel the skills of one of the enemies, but because we used our mending light in 1 turn, we don't manage to do so. Zale takes a lot more damage, and so does Sarai, or Sarai, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, but we then dish out another Venom Flurry within 2 empowered live mana orbs. This actually ends up taking out one of the zombies, which is pretty nice. Then it leaves one of the zombies on the left very low, so we finished them off with Valir, nice stuff. Then there's just 1 zombie left. You can see Valir hasn't actually been hit this whole fight. She's still got the shield from the beginning, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, pretty simple fight, and after a few of them are taken down. We then explore on the island a little bit, find this little path down here where we can jump in the water and collect some ingredients for cooking. Ending up back on the island, we end up bumping into this Duke-like person who makes us wary of that he's the keeper of the graveyard, and that the mistress doesn't really like company, so we should turn around and leave. We find this secret cave on the left side of the island that requires a special item, but we don't have it, so we leave and end up running into this next group of enemies with 2 new looking enemies here. Immediately I noticed that they have like fast forward arrows next to their turn counter, which is interesting. We go ahead and start focusing down 1, and it uses Gull, which does nothing, I guess. It just dances around, so we use Valir to go and take it out. They have very low HP, which is kind of nice. The second one uses the same move, but this time we get hit with some damage, which catches me by surprise. But yeah, we managed to take them both out pretty easily, so we have to see what they do in the future. We didn't really learn much this fight. But with those 2 being taken out, just this last tree guy left, we do some basic attacks with the team, powered auto from Valir here, and then Zale to finish it off. Pretty easy fight overall. Nice stuff. We end up picking up these mangoes, I think, on our left here that are being grown out, but we can harvest that so we can use that to cook, which is kind of nice. We then end up exploring a little bit and finding this little temple here, which is kind of cool. They usually have something nice behind them, but as we go in, there's a little chest in the center which we quickly climb up to, and we get some shimmering daggers which can be used for Sarai, which is nice. Increase our damage to undead by 10%. It gives her a little bit more stats, which is great. Heading back outside, we look around for a little bit longer, and we can't really find too much other than these wooden planks that we can see here. I'm not sure what you do with them, but we can maybe revisit them a little bit later on. We then ended up walking back down and walking past the Duke guy that we saw earlier and into this kind of cave where 3 enemies drop down. What we'll do here actually is play this fight sped up for you guys, so you guys can maybe see it in a different style, see if you guys like it. But this fight is not too bad at all. We try out Venom Flurry here. Need some more practice with that, and it does a lot of damage if you can get the timing down. The Go-Go move is used a few times by both of them, the enemies on the left and the right, but they're so easy to take out. This fight is pretty much over at this point, and it's just the one zombie left, which we slowly whistle down with some basic attacks. Nice. Not a fan of this green water though, I'll be honest, but we use Zale to heal up the party a little bit, and then we climb out to the top here and then go back down, because I was like, how do I get this chest? But yeah, we end up going up. There's a chest on the left that we can get that contains an obsidian ore, which is nice. We can go ahead and sell that, and moving on forward, we don't really find too much, just kind of exploring a little bit until we run into the Duke again, and he's like, hey guys, you guys need to be careful, you can angle the mistress, blah blah blah. And we're like, yeah, sure buddy. But yeah, we end up finding these enemies that are kind of like in the center of the map, and there's 4 of them this time, so it might be a little bit more challenging. We kick it off with a Venom Flurry, and we're getting kind of good with these now. Get some really good damage off onto all 4 enemies. It's going to mean that the 3 smaller enemies are going to be low HP. Finish them all off with a Moonerang, and from here the fight's pretty much done. That fight was over a lot quicker than I thought it would be. We end up jumping into a nice little pool and landing on this platform where we find a campfire and maybe we can save it. We then end up jumping into the water and searching around the area. We don't end up finding too much, but we do realize that we can actually use this platform to travel across the water, which is going to help us to reach higher places like this platform here or this island here. And we end up getting to where we need to get to, looking for the soulstone for Garl. I'm not really going to summarize this section, so I'll let this play out. So yeah, it looks like the Duke wants to fight us now. How fun. He's protecting the mistress. We need to take him out to get our soulstone, and let's do it in style. I end up using the Lunar Shield ability from Valir. I don't know what he's going to throw at us, so we need to make sure we can protect ourselves just in case. He ends up hitting us with this big single target attack, but the shield blocks it, so we're okay. We then try out this backstab ability. I forgot the name of it. It was just there, but I forgot to read it. It does a little bit of damage to him, but not really anything significant. And the next turn he ends up charging, but we don't have the right tools to be able to cancel the charge. We don't have enough mana on Valir and stuff. And he's got this crazy tornado-like move even, which doesn't do that much damage, and the shields block it again. So that's not too bad. We get a couple of normal attacks in on him. But really, in this position, I'm just trying to make sure I have enough mana to be able to deal with whatever skill charging he throws next. We're able to get some mana on Valir and on Sarai as well, which is nice. And then he starts charging in the next turn. So we get one attack with Zale into a nice Moonerang. Well, kind of nice Moonerang. We managed to break the skill charging, but the distance is so short. It's so hard to get the correct timing even, but that was pretty good for us. He ends up charging again, but only with 1 turn, so it's kind of impossible for us to actually break this skill, I think. Maybe there's a way that I'm not thinking of, but yeah, either way, he uses that tornado ability again. This time we got the combo meter to heal us up, but other than that ability and the single target attacks, he doesn't do too much. We're able to cancel his tornado ability quite easily in the next turn, and then we use Valir to get another hit in, which actually ends the fight. Super easy boss, to be honest. He ends up conceding, realizing that we're quite strong and he doesn't want to go down. But the good thing is he actually speaks to Zale here and teaches him a new ability called Dash Strike, which is kind of cool. Very, very nice stuff. And then he lets us pass by moving to the side. Taking a look at the ability, it actually does damage to all enemies, sun and sword damage, or sword and sun damage it says. But yeah, before we end up going in to speak to the mistress, we head to the left side of the island because we noticed something a bit earlier on and head into this cave here where we see these 4 enemies on their own. Honestly, this fight was not too difficult at all. We'll probably go ahead and skip it. Plus there's also a campfire back in the center, so even if it went south, we can quickly heal up, no worries at all. The room seems to have kind of like this puzzle encryption on the walls with the chest locked behind this gate here, but I don't know what's going on, so we leave it for the meantime. We head back to where the Duke was and we enter the lair. Ends up being called the Necromancer's Lair, and there's a chest straight away which contains Romea's hairpin, not sure what that does. And we find some enemies here again with a new style enemy, this wizard looking enemy. I end up using Venom Flurry again. I'm really trying to get down the timing on this ability, which unfortunately we don't get again, but getting the timing down I think is really good, get really good damage. The wizard has this attack that hits all of us, which is kind of insane, and we get the Go-Go ability coming out, which does some damage to Zale. But we also try this new dash strike ability, which looks super cool, hits all of the enemies, does some decent damage, not a lot, but we end up taking out the Go-Go like enemy. I don't know what his name is, but yeah, then we end up finishing the zombie with Valir and ending up finishing the wizard with Zale. Pretty simple, not too bad. The wizard can be a little bit scary, I think. But inside the lair now looks a little bit creepy, loads of skulls around, and we got these moving platforms that are operated by switches on top of them. We jump into another fight with these two enemies, the gargoyles. Oh, they actually are called gargoyles. Okay, interesting. But yeah, we skip it. The fight's super easy, only two of them, and then we continue on through the lair to the next room. Actually leads us back outside, and we see this big door that closes, and these three skulls end up leaving and traveling who knows where, with one of them right in front of us going into a pile of bones and brings to life this monstrosity of a monster. That doesn't look fun, but yeah, we go ahead and save it here for now. We end up walking past one of them and leave it for the meantime while we collect these berries and head to the left side of the map, where we see these four enemies kind of running around, which we bump into for a quick fight. Fight looks a little bit scary, but we start off with a nice Venom Flurry from Sarai, which doesn't actually turn out to be as nice as I'd hoped, only getting 3 hits there. The team then take quite a little bit of damage, but we end up using Valir's Lunar Shield to heal up the team and provide protection to all of them. I feel like it's going to come in big handy as we go into the game. Here we could have taken out the Go-Go on the left with Zale, but for some reason I didn't think about doing that, and we go for the Woodland Spirit, which is not the best play. The Woodland Spirit then gets healed, to my surprise, by the Go-Go. But after that, the Woodland Spirit starts charging up, so we go ahead and work on cancelling that skill as soon as possible. The wizard also breaks all of our shields, which is really unfortunate, so we're going to be a little bit susceptible to damage here. But like I said, we get the skill charge off the Woodland Spirit, which is kind of nice. And a couple of the enemies are low enough now to be able to take out, so Sarai takes out the enemy on the left. Then we manage to take out the Woodland Spirit in the next turn, and then from here we have enough combo meter to be able to use our Mending Light, which is nice, and enough charges to get the one shot here with Sarai, which is kind of insane. But yeah, after this Mending Light cast, we go ahead and get the last hit onto this Gargoyle, and that's the fight done and dusted. We end up looking around in this area for a little bit, but we don't actually end up finding too much. There's a switch that we see up here, and I'm kind of hugging the walls to see if there's anything that I'm missing, but I don't see anything other than those wooden plank things again. So we got to figure out what they do. By heading back outside, we head to the right side of the map and go into this cave-like area instead, where we're able to find a different path with this wooden plank, and as we cross, the wooden plank disappears, which is a little bit of annoying, so we're kind of stuck here now. But we start off by fighting these enemies. So we end up going quite crazy with the MP here. We use the Sunball first from Zale, getting a really nice charge off and killing one of the enemies straight away. Really nice stuff. It's going to leave 2 of the other enemies low as well. So we go ahead and use the Venom Flurry from Sarai, which then takes out 2 more of the enemies. Really nice stuff. 1 enemy left. We finish him with a nice combo, and that was a super quick fight. After this, we kind of have like a little puzzle coming up where we have to flick this switch that moves this platform on top of us, so we can go ahead and use that to get to the other side, but the platform below we can't get to, so we end up climbing up this ladder. We notice this wizard on the right here, which might be useful if we can get to him, that is. Then we get this chest, which is a spectral cape, and we can only equip that on Sarai. Looks like we can't equip it on Zale over there, so we go ahead and do that, increase their magic defense quite nicely, and then we end up using a ladder back down to the other side, and then from this position we can use the switch to get the platform up and get to it by going back up and round the platform. Ends up just being a short, kind of tedious puzzle, but we end up finding an obsidian ore in a chest, which is kind of nice, so we can sell that later, and then we enter into the next room on the right. We end up climbing down these stairs here where we bump into a few more enemies, but we'll go ahead and mainly skip this fight. It's quite simple for the most part, but this wizard is a little bit of an issue, and I have to look out for him in the future because he has this triple attack that we've been seeing, and it does a lot of damage. Actually adds up quite nicely, or not nicely for me, but he's also susceptible to a lot of magic damage, so we need to make sure we keep that in mind. But continuing onwards anyway, we head up this ladder here and then end up jumping down to go into this cave-like area. Cave in a cave, it feels like. We find this insanely big chest, which is kind of nice, and we get a grappler. Not sure what that does. Press 0 to 0. Press circle to actually grapple onto stuff. Okay, interesting. And you see me spamming it there. Test it out, and all these lights light up, which is kind of cool. And we can actually grapple onto those wooden posts now, which is awesome. So we actually have a use for those wooden posts, and that's going to unlock a whole bunch of areas for us. The game allows us to train a little bit with the new grappler item. Can't pronounce it properly. But you get into these situations where you have to do it diagonally. It's a little bit hard sometimes. You see me struggling a little bit, and we finally get the angle, which is kind of nice. We head back to the main room where we were before, and I realized that this enemy kept hugging the wall there. So I tried the grappler on it, and it worked. Pulled us over there. 2 wizards that we have to fight. Take them out very easily with a really nice moonerang. One of our best for a while. But I think I say that for every moonerang anyway. And we end up collecting these herbs and another rainbow conch, which is awesome. We then end up heading back to the main first area where we were stuck because the platform disappeared, and yeah, again we're just kind of messing around a bit, but yeah, we go to this next room, which is kind of cool. We actually end up bumping into these enemies here, and I didn't realize there was a big guy with a sword and a shield there, so he kind of surprised me, but we got a bigger fight than I thought on our hands. So it ends up being similar to the guy outside that we saw before we entered here, but we start off this first round by attacking the Go-Go and taking him out. The big guy then swings, it doesn't do too much damage, which is pretty good, and we focus all of our attacks on the wizard, and at this point it's just a 3v1, so we can work on taking him down hopefully pretty easily. So I decided to do some big damage with Sarai here, using all 3 charges that we obtained to do 88 damage. He's really tanky and has a ton of HP, but we're looking alright so far until he charges up, goes straight at Valir, and does this triple swing, which does insane damage. So we've got to be super careful now. We end up using Valir's Lunar Shield to make sure the team are protected, and we can hopefully avoid that next attack. From here, we end up using the Saurian as well, which pushes back his turn, which is a really nice move, I think, and it's going to come in handy from Sarai, 100%. A couple of base attacks should do it from here. He's not too high HP, so we use Valir, and then charge up Zale, and we end up taking him out in the next attack. That ends up releasing one of the ghost heads, because I believe we needed 3 of them for the center to open it up, or whatever, the door here, yep, and it goes to the front, which is kind of nice. So we end up leaving this place and heading back to the main area in the beginning. After a campfire refresh, we go ahead and take out this Remadan, I think it's called, in the center. There's only 1 of them this time, so it should be a lot easier than the additional enemies that were there with the last one. So as it's him on his own, we do what we can to go all out, using the Moonerang to start out the fight. Again, a semi-decent one, but it actually doesn't do that much damage. So Riot does the most damage to it, I think, because it's weak to poison. But yeah, we just end up hitting it constantly. It's on its own, it's fine. And we can heal up after the campfire, at the campfire after anyway, which should be good to go. So after the fight's done, we end up going back to the campfire quickly, healing up, and then we get the head to secure 2 out of 3. From here, we just need to go to the left side. Now we've got this new grappler thing. We should be able to complete that dungeon, and we'll do that in the next episode.